In today's video, we're checking out this. It's the Philips Air Purifier. Actually, that's a pretty good job. So you join me during the UK heatwave, but this isn't going to help with the cooling down of the situation, but it might help you if you suffer from asthma and hay fever and other things like this. So I'm going to talk to you about this, the Philips Air Purifier Series 800, specifically the AC0820. We bought 3 of these and I left one of them unboxed whilst we ran the other 2, and I've been running them now for about 3 to 4 weeks. So I feel like I can kind of talk to you about how well they work and whether it's worth considering getting one. So we'll pop things out of the box and then I'll take you through the specs and everything to show you what you get. These are currently in the summer sale at Philips, I think, which has happened since I bought these. And I think the recommended retail price right now is about £150 or something. So when we pop it open, a little bit of instruction stuff on the box there. Cardboard packaging, which we chuck on the floor. The unit itself. Some instruction manual literature. And then in here we have the power cable. So I just pop the power cable open, show you what's inside. Okay, so here in the UK, obviously a 3-pin plug with a little 90-degree adapter on it. This cable length is 1.6 meters, so a reasonable amount of length that enables you to position the air purifier wherever you decide you may need it. We pop that to one side and open things up so you can see inside in a little bit more detail. So the unit itself is really lightweight, so it weighs 2.4 kilograms. And you get a couple of things you see on the top here. First of all, this yellow little strip, which is reminding you need to take the filter out and remove it from the packaging before you use it. Then there's this little control quick start guide on the front, which tells you a little bit about the operations and some information about changing the filter and everything. So let me just take this off and then you can see what that looks like. So we have English on the one side and Japanese, I think, maybe, not quite sure. This little yellow strip, we just take that off, it's just on with some tape. And then on top, here we have the sensor button. Again, there's just a little plastic cover strip that we can take off of here. If we look around the back here, underneath this section, we can open up this door. This is the basically the particulate filter. So every now and then you want to give that a clean. So it's a 2.5 micron, I think it is, pinhole sensor on there that basically detects all sorts of different bacteria and pollen, dust, pet dander, etc. So pet dander, I think, is basically just dog and cat dandruff, which we'll get into in a moment why that's helpful for me. Down the bottom is the little port for the power, and then a very small on and off switch just there. If you have a look at the bottom, the big filter wheel here, you just turn it and it opens. So then we can take filter media out. One thing to keep in mind when you put it back, make sure it has the Philips logo at the top when you put this back in. You can buy replacements of these filters, but they should last at least a year. But they do recommend that every month you open it up, take it out and give it a little clean. It's probably not recommended, but you probably can clean these if you want. It's a HEPA filter, so no charcoal filters or anything like that. So even though this filter will help a little bit with odor, no charcoal filter that's going to be specifically meant for that. As you can see here, it tells you the model, so FY0194, and on the other side there's no Philips logos, which enables you to remember what way to put it in. And if we look inside, again, it's just basically like an empty dustbin. That again, we can put filter in, pop this back on, and lock it into place. There's a couple of lines that basically just line up where it says open and close. And actually the only thing that I don't like about this filtration unit is if you look at the feet, there is no rubber on those feet, it's just a piece of plastic, so it will slide about on a tail a little bit, so something definitely to keep in mind. So if we talk a little bit about the performance of this, as mentioned at the beginning, it's the AC0820. So filters all those invisible viruses and stuff that we can't see. So it, based on the filtration in there, that HEPA filter should filter 99.9% of allergies and pollutants in the air. And it can clean, this particular model can clean the space up to 49 meters squared. If you have a 20 meter squared area, so basically half of that it will do in about 16 minutes, which is pretty impressive. So it's 0.003 microns is what level the filtration can filter down to. And in terms of its size, it's 36.7 centimeters high and 25 centimeters in diameter. It's got 3 modes basically, and the modes you modify with this touch sensitive button. So when you turn it on, it's in normal mode, and then when it's kind of normally operating, it will, well, when it's active, it will be using 20 watts of power. Then when it kind of goes into its standby mode, it's using about 0.5 watts, so pretty good. We'll look at the noise levels, but again, basically, most of the time you can hardly hear this thing. If you put it into turbo mode, it will be relatively loud, 61 decibels, and when it's in sleep mode, it's about 35 decibels. And that sleep mode is kind of what it's in majority of the time, at least when I've set it. So you can have auto mode, which is basically, it's going to modify the performance of the fan based on the particulates that it detects. If you just want it into turbo mode all the time, you can select that, and it will basically do what it needs to do. So this ring on here, as well as being a touch sensitive button, also provides information as to the air quality level in the room. So most of the time you hopefully see that it's blue, and that means you've got good air quality. From time to time you'll pop it, see it going purple, that means your air quality is fair. Then there's like a pink, which is poor, and then red, which is very poor. So in my house, when the dog walks past sometimes and shakes, you'll see it go very poor. And again, that comes back to the pet dander. My dog is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier and has various allergies, and one of those things is quite dusty, flaky skin. And actually, these are the reasons why we bought these. Is my son has really bad hay fever, so we've got one that goes in his room. I've got one here in the cave, and we have another one in the living room where the dog will be in the evening. So it helps with the dog dandruff and the hay fever and everything. And to be honest with you, at first, the first kind of few days, it did a little bit of stuff, but I wasn't convinced it was working. But over the last few weeks, as the weather's got bad, the pollen count has increased. My son's hay fever has been fantastic. He hasn't needed to take all the meds to stop his eyes dribbling and everything, especially at night time. He's sleeping without any issues. And I have noticed that in the living room, again, this is sat near the dog actually, you see it come on every now and then. It's not obtrusive, but the air quality does seem better. And that's actually one thing, I don't know about in your house, you know, when the sun shines through and you see all those dust particles in the air, there's a lot less of that now we're noticing in the house, where obviously this is cleaning through. So again, been 3 or 4 weeks, I've taken out the filter, and you can't, disappointingly, it wasn't filthy black, which means we don't live in a complete cesspit. But you know, I do think these things are worth it. It's one of those things that I don't think you realise how well it's working, because if it's doing its job properly, it kind of does go unnoticed. So that's it. I hope this is kind of helpful. Again, it's lightweight, doesn't take up that much space. I actually think it looks pretty cool. When I first got it out of the box, my kids were like, "Oh, this is a brand new big Alexa, is it?" No, it's an air filter. But yeah, it's pretty stylish. I think it fits in with aesthetic in most houses. And again, does a great job of filtering out all those stinky viruses that may be in our houses. So this has been helpful. Getting a quick overview and review of this Philips Air Purifier. Please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and maybe even hitting that notification bell if you want to see other Spectrum Geeks videos in the future. Take care of yourself. I hope you're not melting in the sun like I am. I'm going to get the aircon back on. And yeah. Whew. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.